George Emanuel, Co-Emergency Management Director.
I'm Robert Thornton. I'm the foreman of the Pembroke Water Division.
And Terry Finnegan, Chairman, Board of Selectmen.
Ed Thornton, Town Administrator. And this is the information that we want to release right now. This is about steps that have been taken by the town before today, and hopefully tomorrow. So these are certain steps that are being required by the town. The lab confirmed this morning that all 26 distribution samples taken system-wide on Saturday, August the 9th, 2008, are coliform absent, which means no E. coli. That was Saturday. Yesterday morning, Monday, August the 11th, 2008, starting at 7 a.m., all 26 distribution samples were taken. They were shipped to the lab at approximately 2 p.m. Monday afternoon. DEP is allowing the results to be determined within 24 hours. We anticipate another press release around 4 p.m. today to announce those results. Currently, we are testing at those 26 sampling sites and anticipate those results being shipped to the lab by 4 p.m. today. 4 p.m. today. A press conference will be scheduled on Wednesday, August the 13th, 2008 at 4 p.m. to announce those results. Now, the earliest information at this point, before we know anything about the boil water order, will probably be Thursday morning. We're not obviously speaking for DEP, but we anticipate the third results will be announced tomorrow afternoon around 4 o'clock. And that's what we believe has been required by DEP. But we can't speak for them right now, but that's the orders that we're following. Any questions?
How do these things happen?
We'd love to know.
I mean, what possibilities? What scenarios?
We're investigating right now what happened. We're not actually sure. We had a crew that came in and started examining the tank at High Street, which is where we first took the hit. So it can be a common occurrence with water. That's why this showed up in a routine sample. That's what began all this. So it's due to the regular routine samples that the DEP makes us do that this showed up. So.
If you remember from approximately maybe a year ago, the town of Wareham had a similar problem, and they were on World Water Advisory for, I believe, 2 weeks, and they did a 3-month investigation, and they never did find the cause. So
our water comes from. Do you have artesian wells?
We have 5 gravel-packed wells, is what they call them.
So contamination can come from groundwater down into that? Is that a possibility?
Not necessarily. That wasn't the case here. Because we're testing at the sample. We're sampling at all the origins of the water, which is the 5 sites, and there was nothing at the well site. So that's not what occurred here.
And the tanks are completely sealed.
The tanks are sealed. Yeah, they're not open on the top. Yes, they're sealed tanks. And once we realized that there was a problem with the High Street tank, which was the first time that we saw a problem, we shut that tank off so that was no longer a threat to the public. That was isolated completely when we got the first sample that showed a positive amount of E. coli.
If anyone has other questions, you could just identify yourself first for the record.
WATV Bob Roll. Could you tell us how many bottles have been distributed to the public in Pembroke? And obviously the boiling procedure should continue?
Absolutely, the boil order is in place. We are providing some water for residents. I can tell you how much has been brought in. I don't know how much has been used.
We gave out 4,000 gallons yesterday. We have a reserve of 7,000 gallons on site, and 3,000 gallons will be delivered this afternoon.
And I'd like to talk about the second question, which was about the boil water being lifted. No. Just the fact that we had system-wide sampling that showed no problems whatsoever once, that doesn't mean that the water is safe to drink. It's still a boil water. Even this afternoon, if we get those samples back this afternoon and they turn out to be negative all around, that still doesn't mean that you can start consuming the water. That still, the boil is on until we get all our sampling back, and then it's up to the DEP to decide when we've satisfied them that the water is safe to drink.
And we at this point plan to continue to distribute water for those who need it through Thursday.
Natalie McKinnon. I'd like to know what the delay was if we found out Wednesday and we were all told Friday.
Okay, I could explain that a little bit. What happened was it was a routine sample that was taken last Monday, and we were made aware of the problem on Wednesday that we had a hit at the tank. So what we did was we shut off the tank to isolate that so that was no longer a problem. We notified the DEP that we had taken an E. coli hit, and we resampled at the high-speed tank, and we resampled upstream and downstream, which means we took a couple either side of the tank on High Street. The reason that we didn't go to the public then is we're not required to, nor would we wish to, because we didn't want to start a panic over something that could be a lab error, a sampling error, anything like that. It takes a second sample, which was taken on Wednesday and came back confirmed on Friday. When we get that, that's when we issue it to the public, and it's only so that we're not crying wolf, if for lack of a better term. We have to take a second confirmed sample that shows that there's actually a problem and that it wasn't a sampling error.
I understand. Were there any sicknesses called in because it wasn't caught?
From what I'm understanding, maybe Ed can comment on that, that there's people now that are there's people that are sick, and we haven't had anybody that's come back that it was definitely from the water. Certainly, we're asking anybody that feels ill if they're calling in here to obviously see the physician and mention to him that there's a boil water going on. But we haven't heard from any physicians as far as I'm concerned.
And what is, one last question, what is the degree of it? In other words, how bad is it on the levels of, what was it, 5 or something? I don't know.
Okay, the levels varied, but they never got very high. And I can tell you that part of that is why we're getting results now in 24 hours rather than 48 hours. That was something that the DEP worked out with our lab yesterday, so that because the numbers were so low, now we're going to get an absent or a present instead of getting an actual.
What was the number?
They were all below 10.
Below 10.
All below 10. I don't have them in front of me.
Per 1,000 milliliters?
Yeah, whatever way they measure it at the lab.
Jackie Dyer. Has this ever happened in Pembroke before? Yes.
What?
Not with an E. coli that I'm aware of.
We've never had E. coli in the town.
No, we've had bacteria problems,
Right,
but
but
I've been on the board for 22 years and I haven't had it.
bacteria problems are fairly common during the summer, and we deal with them and we never alert the public because there's nothing to alert them to. This is totally different.
And that's coming from, they said, animal or human?
Yeah, it'd be better off talking to a chemist about that than to me, but yeah, right. It's supposed to be from a warm-blooded animal.